Imagine being the person who saves hundreds from a horrific attack, only to have that act twisted into a public accusation that shatters your life. This is Richard's story. Richard, a 34-year-old security guard, was just doing his job in Atlanta. It was 1996, the Summer Olympics were in full swing, and Richard was assigned to a sprawling park area teeming with people. They were enjoying the festive atmosphere, grabbing food from concession stands, and listening to live music. During his patrol, Richard spotted a group of loud, intoxicated individuals by a bench, littering the ground. He approached them, and they eventually dispersed, leaving behind a distinctive green military backpack. "Hey, you forgot your bag," he called after them. "That's not our bag, you turd," they shot back. A chilling thought gnawed at Richard. The bag had been sitting there for half an hour. What if it contained a bomb? He didn't know why the thought struck him so strongly, but the paranoia felt justified. He quickly radioed his supervisors, expressing his grave suspicion. The bomb squad was dispatched. Unbeknownst to Richard, his intuition was terrifyingly accurate. The bag held not one, but 3 pipe bombs, packed with deadly shrapnel. As the bomb squad raced towards the scene, an ATF agent arrived to conduct an initial assessment. He dropped to his knees, flashlight beam cutting through the dimness, and then, a grim confirmation. "Yep, that's a bomb." Instant pandemonium. Many fled in terror. But Richard didn't run away. He ran into the danger. "There's a bomb! Get out of the way!" he screamed, weaving through the panicked crowd, urging as many people as possible away from the backpack. His efforts were heroic, and the crowd slowly, reluctantly, began to retreat. And then, the explosion. A thunderous kaboom rocked the park. Shrapnel ripped through the air, and screams of terror echoed. Chaos reigned. Debris struck people, and tragically, one woman was killed instantly. A cameraman, rushing towards the unfolding drama, suffered a fatal heart attack. In total, 2 lives were lost, and 112 people were injured. Yet, because of Richard's brave actions, countless more were spared. The bombing was front-page news, and Richard was an overnight sensation, lauded as a hero. He appeared on CNN, expressing hopes that the perpetrators would be caught. He was the unlikely hero, a security guard who had stared down death and saved lives. The public clamored for him to receive a medal, but the tide was about to turn. One of Richard's disgruntled former employers, seeing his interview, called the FBI with a malicious tip. "I think Richard planted the bomb himself." The FBI, under immense pressure to find a culprit, and with few leads, seized upon this desperate accusation. Could their hero actually be the bomber? They began an investigation. Journalists caught wind of it, and the story exploded again. Suddenly, every news outlet declared Richard, the former hero, a terrorist. The narrative spun that he had planted the bomb to achieve fame. The media hounded him, staking out his mother's apartment where he was staying. He couldn't escape their relentless pursuit. In interviews, he was confronted with the accusations. "I categorically say that you did not do this. I did not do it." Desperate to get Richard to confess, the FBI devised a deceptive plan. They called him, still praising him as a hero, and invited him to their Atlanta office to help them create a training video about the bombing. Trusting and naive, Richard agreed. At the FBI offices, agents questioned him casually, making it seem like a routine information gathering session for the video. "To make this training video as realistic as possible," one agent explained, "we just need you to pretend you're a suspect, and I'll read you your Miranda rights on camera." As the agent began to read his rights, a cold realization dawned on Richard. Something was terribly wrong. He quickly called a friend who was a lawyer. His friend immediately saw through the deception. "Get the hell out of that building right now, Richard!" Richard walked out, leaving the FBI empty-handed. But the FBI wasn't giving up. They were determined to link him to the bombing. They secured a warrant and raided his apartment for 7 grueling hours, tearing it apart. Richard was forced to sit outside, exposed to the media frenzy, photographers capturing his distraught image. Naturally, the FBI found nothing. Richard was innocent. This nightmare dragged on for nearly 3 months. Richard was relentlessly harassed by both the media and the FBI. He couldn't escape the accusations of being a terrorist. Sleep was impossible due to the constant presence of reporters and the lingering PTSD from witnessing the bombing. As weeks turned into months, it became painfully clear Despite their relentless efforts, the FBI could find no evidence to implicate Richard. Finally, after a prolonged and deeply embarrassing investigation, the Justice Department issued a formal statement, unequivocally clearing Richard of all suspicion. Richard was overwhelmed with relief. He held a press conference, declaring, "In its rush to show the world how quickly it could get its man, the FBI trampled on my rights as a citizen." He filed lawsuits against several media outlets for defaming his name and against his former employer for the false tip. These lawsuits resulted in substantial settlement money, which Richard used to buy a new house for himself and his mother. A small victory in a long ordeal. The real bomber, a politically motivated extremist, was finally apprehended in 2003 and sentenced to life in prison. Justice, for him at least, was finally served.